few special circumstances involving powers and exponents. Any number written to the power of 1 is actually that same number. 10 to the power of 1 is 10. 7 to the power of 1 is 7. 25 to the power of 1 is 25. 300 to the power of 1 is 300. You guessed the rule. Any number to the power of 1 is itself that same number. The power of 0 is often a tricky one as well. Anything to the power of 0, most kids think is 0. It's not. In fact, it is 1. This one got cut off here. Anything to the power of 0 is 1. 10 to the power of 0 is 1. 7 to the power of 0 is 1. 25 to the power of 0 is 1. 300 to the power of 0 is 1. Any number written to the power of 0 is always going to be 1. Write those rules down somewhere. I will bring up those rules so you can copy them into your notes. Any number to the power of 1 is itself. Any number to the power of 0 is 1. Please copy those onto your note sheet. You know, you can always pause the video if you need more time. Let's look at a few more practice problems involving powers and exponents. Sometimes you're going to have a base that is a decimal or a fraction. I want you to copy these last two examples into your note sheet and make sure you bring them tomorrow so I can make sure you've watched this video. If I want to write 1.5 to the power of 3 as a product of the same factor, that simply means write it in expanded form. In other words, 1.5 to the power of 3 is 1.5 times 1.5 times 1.5. To find the actual value, I would then multiply that out. So I would do 1.5 times 1.5. Let's review decimal multiplication. 1.5 by 1.5. 5 times 5 is 25. 1 times 5 is 5. Plus 2 is 7. Put down a 0 there. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 1 is 1. I add up my numbers as usual. And then I count the decimals, the numbers behind the decimal point. There are 2. So I count 2 decimal places in my answer. And I have 2.25 or 2 and 2,500. I'm not finished yet. I now need to multiply that by the last 1.5. You can work ahead of me if you want. 2.25 multiplied by 1.5. You do not need to line up the decimal when multiplying. 5 times 5 is 25. 2 times 5 is 10. Plus 2 is 12. 2 times 5 is 10. Plus 1 is 11. Now I put my 0, multiply everything by 1. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 2 is 2. Add them up, carefully lining up my numbers. And then I count the numbers behind the decimal point and the numbers I was multiplying. So there are 1, 2, 3. So I go to my answer, my product, and I count 1, 2, 3. That means my final answer here is 3.375, or 3 and 375 thousandths. Let's try one more. I want you to make sure you have this in your notes also. A fraction. Writing a fraction is a product of the same factor. Let's write that in expanded form. It says 1/2 to the power of 3. That means 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2. Multiplying fractions is easy. Remember, all you do is multiply the numerators. 1 times 1 times 1 would give us 1. Multiply the denominators. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So our answer to 1/2 to the power of 3 is 1/8. Make sure you have all these notes and be ready tomorrow to practice some more evaluating powers in exponential form.